Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and welcome back to another episode of GTA 6 City of the Week. This is a series where we're going to be evaluating a different city in the U.S. and kind of gauging and evaluating how well it would fit for Grand Theft Auto 6 as a setting. Now, once again, as a reminder, there's been no confirmed information on GTA 6 or whatever the next Grand Theft Auto game is going to be called, so that's why we're going through these various cities, touching on why they might be well, some issues that they could have, and a whole lot more. Now, this week's city is going to be a pretty cool one. It is New Orleans. So in case you guys don't know where New Orleans is, or you're not from the United States, New Orleans is located in the southwest of the United States in the state of Louisiana. Now, despite it being the largest population center and metropolitan area in the state, it's actually not the city's capital. That belongs to Baton Rouge. Now, that's not exactly an issue, as we've seen Rockstar host other cities that were not capitals like Miami in Florida for GTA Vice City, so that wouldn't be too terribly of a big deal. Now, New Orleans is considered to be the most unique city in the United States and has been likened to cities of the Caribbean, which could be pretty cool too. Now, while the city is large with a typical downtown business area, the other districts are extremely varied with several demographics and architectural styles, with a swamp nearby, so it would be amazing variety that would make for a great game map. Now, I just mentioned the bayou and the swamp area of New Orleans and Louisiana, but there's also several other lakes as well as the Mississippi River that runs straight through the city, another nice body of water that would be perfect for the map. Now, separating the New Town, Old Town, French, Spanish, and British districts, you've got a basic sectioned off map formula pretty much already done that Rockstar could run with. Now, with three different styles between Vice City, Liberty City, and Los Santos, adding a fourth entirely different one will shake things up nicely. Vice City obviously being very beachy, Liberty City almost urban jungle, Los Santos kind of getting a city, but then, a wilderness area. So this one would be pretty cool. Now let's talk about crime. New Orleans honestly might as well be called the murder capital because the murder rate is the highest in the country, and it's actually 21st worldwide, with almost 60 murders per 100,000 people. Now, this would allow Rockstar to maybe go off the rails a little bit more with the random events, giving them more freedom for things the NPCs could do, like maybe witnessing a crime occurring. So that would actually be pretty awesome. Now, on the other hand, New Orleans isn't particularly known for its gang or mafia affiliations. So setting up your usual factions for Rockstar might actually be a little bit tricky here. There really isn't a unifying motive for homicides in the city, but there's plenty that occur. And in terms of some of the other illegal criminal activity, there isn't a whole lot else that goes on in the city. So Rockstar would certainly have to be creative, coming up with some crime and some potential storylines. Now, let's talk about recognition. I've talked about this in previous episodes of this series. Recognition is key. And even though New Orleans isn't a massive city like, New York or, Los Angeles or Miami, it's still pretty recognizable. A lot of people come to New Orleans for parties or events or festivities, so it's definitely still got that worldwide renown. Now, New Orleans is probably one of the most unique cities in the United States for a good reason. You have the French colonial roots that can still be seen today, while the downtown portion of the city has conformed to your typical American big city look. And there's a very interesting mingle of architectural styles in relatively small areas. Now, New Orleans is possibly the most visibly recognizable city in the entire country if you're not focusing on landmarks, just everyday streets. Like the French Quarter is one of the most iconic sites in the world, along with the St. Louis Cathedral Cathedral. However, probably the only problem is New Orleans isn't particularly a tall city, so there isn't a jungle of towering skyscrapers that we've seen in really every GTA game so far, especially in places like Liberty City. Now let's talk about the potential story here. While New Orleans has been shaping up nicely to this point, this is where the city might lose some points. Since the criminal element in the city isn't particularly organized or famous, there isn't much to base a story on. Of course, the story could be an entirely original work to which the blank slate offered by the city is ideal. However, it would be nice to ground it with some real connections like we've seen in some other games. Now, speaking of some other games, that might actually be an issue for Rockstar because New Orleans has actually been featured in other Take-Two games and looks like it's going to be featured in another Rockstar game. So if you guys know Mafia 3, New Orleans is actually known as New Bordeaux, and it's actually the setting of that game. So it would kind of be interesting if Rockstar were to double dip and also create their game in New Orleans too. Now, this has certainly not been confirmed, but Red Dead Redemption's leaked map looks to have a portion of New Orleans or New Bordeaux in there as well. So that would be 2 games under the Take-Two umbrella that would be featuring this fictional city, this recreation of New Orleans. So would Rockstar make it a three-peat and possibly do Grand Theft Auto 6 in a city like this? That's really the only thing I could see them kind of shying away from. Now, let's talk about some fan-created maps that some players have come up with. So this first one right here is Grand Theft Auto, apparently 7 New Orleans. We're just completely skipping 6, but this is pretty cool. Even though it's small, it gives you a good idea of how you could go from city, the way the river splits the city up into the swamps and the bayous. So this right there is pretty cool. You can see it has 2 airports. You can see there's lots of bridges and rivers and swamps and stuff like that. So ultimately, I feel like this would be a very, very cool city. And then, of course, we've taken a look at this USA map in previous videos, but same thing here. It's not the biggest city, as you can see, Los Santos, Las Venturas, San Fierro, way bigger, but it is still pretty cool. It's kind of that in-between point between somewhere like Vice City and somewhere like Los Santos, which could actually be pretty awesome. So now let's talk about the final verdict for this city. How would it work? So the pros, it's extremely iconic. You have the French Quarters, you have, a lot of people know what New Orleans is. There's also a high murder rate, which would be pretty cool. So crime is certainly high in the city, leading to a plot line that would satisfy Grand Theft Auto 5. However, the 2 cons is there's really nothing to base the story on, which actually could turn out to be a good thing. Might allow Rockstar to kind of create their own sort of narrative here, which could be cool. But also another con, it wouldn't really be anything fresh, considering we've seen Take-Two Interactive feature this city in Mafia 3, and it looks like it's going to be a small part of Red Dead Redemption 2. So all in all, the clean slate New Orleans offers, along with all of its great assets, would make a perfect location for a GTA game, while giving the story team really a whole lot of room to get creative. So I think this would be a great setting for a future GTA game. But of course, I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. Would you like to see Grand Theft Auto 6 take place in a city like New Orleans or New Bordeaux? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. As per usual, if you guys have a city that you would like to see me cover in a future episode, also be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. If you did go and enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.